Have you ever grappled with the headache of accessing nested properties in JavaScript, only to encounter an undefined or null value that crashes your code? This is a common challenge faced by many developers, but thanks to JavaScript's optional chaining, there's a solution to this problem. Optional chaining is a JavaScript feature that simplifies the process of accessing nested properties of objects. It's especially useful when dealing with potentially undefined or null values, which can often lead to unexpected errors and crash your code. So how can you use optional chaining in React? It's a straightforward process, and we're going to walk through it step by step. First, understand that optional chaining uses the question mark symbol to check if an object or property exists before trying to access it. This prevents your code from throwing an error if it encounters an undefined or null value. Here's how it works. Suppose you have an object and you want to access a nested property. Without optional chaining, you would typically write something like this. But with optional chaining, you can simplify this too. Now let's apply this to React. Suppose you're working with a component that receives props, and one of those props is an object with nested properties. You want to access a nested property, but you're not sure if it always exists. Without optional chaining, you might write something like this, but this can get cumbersome, especially if you're dealing with deeply nested properties. With optional chaining, you can simplify this too. If or is undefined or null, your code won't crash, it will simply return undefined. Optional chaining also works with array indices and function calls. For instance, you can write to safely access an array index or to safely call a function. In conclusion, optional chaining is a powerful feature that can significantly simplify your JavaScript and React code. It allows you to safely access nested properties, array indices, and function calls, even if they might be undefined or null. Remember the key points from this tutorial. Optional chaining uses the question mark symbol to check if an object or property exists before trying to access it, and it works with nested properties, array indices, and function calls. By using optional chaining in your React code, you can avoid potential errors and make your code more readable and maintainable. Happy coding!